And I think now we're ready for Jim for you to introduce our program today.
Okay, here we go. Is that good? Okay, so today there are several purple bracelets on your tables, as have been in the past. And these bracelets today are dedicated to the members in our club who are actually surviving and battling to win the battle over cancer. They are Ray Hardy, Dawn Orzeman, Paul Royer, Steve Romines, and Kim Wyman. If you'd like to take one of these bracelets, please do. Wear them in their honor. The bracelets do say Lacey Rotary, and they also say, I believe they say, no one fights alone. In their honor, and with taking a bracelet, I'm not looking for donations today for the bracelets. What I've been working on for the last month or so is doing an online auction for our Relay for Life team. And I put it online just before I left. And in 2 minutes after I put it on, already 3 items are gone. People feel pretty good about donating and getting a little prize along with it. So when you go home from this meeting or this afternoon or whatever, take a look at your emails and take a look at the auction. And if you see something on there you'd like, or even if you see something that you don't want, you can still bid on it, and you'll probably win it. There's over 40 items on it, and basically I say this is a win-win. You donate for the team, and you end up with a great little item. And so I want to thank you for your kindness, and please also don't forget to sign up to be on the team and possibly walk for an hour with us. Now, to start this program, I just want to show our speaker, named Shelley, what our link and what our connection is to Relay for Life and to finding a cure. So if you would stand up and please stay standing till I'm finished, I would really appreciate it. And I'm going to start, please, and so I got to read this. Please stand and be honored if you're fighting the battle right now to win the battle against cancer. And I hope that, so go ahead and stand up. And if you, I hope you can also come to the relay and walk the survivor lap with us. So go ahead and stay standing. Now, I'll be the first to stand. So I'm up, and please join me if you have had a wife who has passed away from cancer. All right. Next, if you've had a husband pass away from cancer, please stand up. That's good. All right. Next, if you've had a mother pass away from cancer, stand up. Next, if you've had a father pass away from cancer, stand up. Next, if you've had a sister pass away, stand up. Next, if you've had a brother pass away, stand up. Next, if you've had a grandmother or an aunt, stand up. Next, if you've had an uncle or a grandfather or a uncle. Next, this is the worst for me. If you've had a son or a daughter, stand up. Next, if you've had any relative in your family other than these people, like son-in-laws, brothers-in-laws, whatever, stand up. And the last one, for those of you that are so lucky to still be sitting down, if you have a good friend that has passed away from cancer, stand up. All right, so I've done this exercise in schools with my DECA classes. We always did an assembly to make people aware of the American Cancer Society and the Relay for Life, and I always did this in our big assembly. And there would be 2,000 students in this room twice, 4,000 kids. And I can tell you that when I did this, every student was up. And so this, Shelley, is our connection to cancer and our connection to fighting against cancer. All right, so thank you very much for standing up. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce Shelley. Shelley is a passionate volunteer who loves coaching others how to grow their Relay for Lives. In addition, having served as the event chair for Relay for Life of Tacoma over the past 2 years, raising over $1.6 million. She's a focus team captain, and she raised $800,000 over 14 years with a team in Tacoma. Shelley has led both corporate teams from Merrill Lynch, and she started another top team when she moved to this town, and friends and family, and it's called Team Connolly's Crew. And Connolly's Crew also participates at the Thurston County Relay for Life, where we do. She loves her current role serving as the nationwide top performers lead, supporting the top 50 events and the top 85 teams in the country. She's also served as a volunteer in work groups that are behind new volunteer structures for both the Relay for Life and the American Cancer Society. In addition, she has been recognized with the St. George National Award last year, 2016, as the highest national award given to any American Cancer Society volunteer. Shelley's husband, Jonathan, who we know as the Rotary 13 Assistant Governor, is also a co-captain of Connolly's Crew. I had to ask Jonathan to do this, and I didn't have to twist his arm, and I don't think he had to twist his wife's arm either, because she's looking forward to doing it. Also on Connolly's Crew, there are 3 relay sons that also are on their team, and they are 8 years old, 6 years old, and 4 years old. So at this time, please welcome Shelley, our presenter.
Well, thank you, you were right. Thank you for having me. One of the things that we do at Relay, and I wanted to just start off with this, and I know, how many people, can you give me a show of hands, how many people actually attended a Relay for Life event? Good. That makes me feel good. When we look at this, you might have seen that there are bags that are around the track. Each one of them bears the name of someone who has had cancer. They could either be fighting now or beat the disease, or they could be someone who's passed away. And so I wanted to just start this off today and present, I love Luminaria. I think they're very important because it reminds us about people and why we do what we do. So I wanted to present one to Jim in honor of his wife who passed away, Diana with 2 N's. And I just wanted to thank him for the opportunity for being here today.
Thank you. Every time I go to a relay, whether it's, I've done the Buckley Relay, which was started in her honor, I've done the Auburn Relay, and now I do South Thurston County. There's always a bag for her. And I never know who put it there, but there's always a bag.
Well, for me today, I did a little bit of, I'm grateful for the internet because it helped me do a little bit of background searching. So when I went to the Lacey Rotary site today, I learned that the speaker today is Jonathan Sprouffske. And so today, We laugh because I'm usually known in relay, he's usually known in relay as Mr. Shelley Moss, and here I'm Mrs. Jonathan Sprouffske. So today I'd like to introduce myself as the lovelier, funnier, more gracious Jonathan Sprouffske. I think I'm also looking forward. I don't know how many of you go home and share Rotary stories, but I've had an abundance of them over the last few years, as he is the assistant governor and a past president. And so tonight, I'm truly hoping to hear one about a delightful speaker you heard today. All right.
Very slow.
And it's going to go down really quick, because this moment, he doesn't have the chance to stop it. So I'm going to show you two of my favorite photos from Relay for Life that involve my husband. This one right here. Last year at Black Hills, and we had a movie theme, and we were picturing it here. And this photo, I truly hope, never dies, okay? He hates it, but this is probably the more meaningful one. And this is at the Relay for Life of Tacoma, where Jonathan actually proposed. Yeah, so you hear big graces from me for that. It was my 30th birthday. And I was expecting that he was going to propose, and the night before, he woke me up at midnight, and he said, I have something really special I needed you to see. And so I'm waking up, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. He says, this is going to be life-changing. And I was very excited. And then he presented me a Sonicare toothbrush. I told him he could go back to his house and we could try again later. So for us, this is a very personal experience. And so I'm very excited to be able to be here with you and combine our Rotary and Relay worlds today. But today, we're going to go through a really quick history lesson. Okay? I know I got 10 minutes, and we're going to bust this. So if you know the answers, please you can go ahead and show off on that, all right? Does anybody think they have any background that they might be able to share about Relay? So first things here, does anybody know what year was the very first Relay for Life event? It's in the 80s. It's 1985. There was a doctor, a colorectal surgeon, Dr. Gordon Clapp. He was the chair of his local ACS board, and they were facing layoffs. They were going to have to let a few people go because they were short in cash and funds that were being raised. He knew that the mission of the society was too great to have this happen in his area. And he decided that he was going to take his talent and his passion, which was running. It's not my passion, I'm glad that it was his. And he decided to do something about it. So he arranged to run for 24 hours around a track to raise money. And in that time, he raised $27,000. You can tell from the shorts that is where we are in the 80s. He ran 83 miles and he raised $27,000. 300 different people came out to walk. You could buy a lap with him. You could run or walk or do whatever you needed to do with that. But something for me that I love is there was a major change in 1986. What do you think the change in 86 was? They're iconic now. I'm sure they're wrong somewhere. It went from a single person event to a multi-team event, which I can get on board with because if you ask me to run for 24 hours, I will laugh and I would stay in bed. Something for this, does anybody know where this very first Relay for Life event was when he ran around the track? What stadium did it take place at?
State High School.
No, but you're close. University of Puget Sound. Very first when he ran on his own. You are correct because 1986, when it turned to a team event, then it moved to Stadium Bowl because it was probably one of the best places I've ever seen for a relay event. So one of the things now, if we look through here, this is Stadium Bowl right here. Good segue. This was the event that I chaired in 2004. It's the very last year we had it at Stadium Bowl. And you can see how it's grown over time from 1 man to 19 teams the next year to more than 150 teams that year. But what I really love, if you look at it here, 1 man all by himself in 85. In 2017, there's more than 4,000 relays around the nation. And then if you look at globally, there are more than 26 countries that will have a Relay for Life event this year. More than 4 million people will come together to walk around the track and to fight cancer. And for me, when I look at the theme of service above self, I realize how significant that is because that took one person who didn't want to see people get laid off And they decided to do something, make a difference. And that impact has started right here in our backyard and springboarded around the world. Is that not something significant? So for me, I think we look at this, and this was my oldest son. He was 4 at the time. I missed his birthday because I was at an American Cancer Society meeting in Atlanta. And I got a text message from his preschool teacher, and she said that he asked her this: do you know what relay is? It's when you walk around the track for a really long time and raise lots of money, and then people don't die from cancer anymore. And for me, I realized if my 4-year-old can communicate that and inspire people to join, I need to up my game as well. You know what I mean? So for us, Relay for Life is 3 things. The first thing it's where we celebrate survivors. Does anybody recognize this here? These are all cancer survivors from Thurston County at last year's Relay. So everybody that's in there has been diagnosed with cancer. One of the things I love is that it takes both the newly diagnosed as well as those who have been longer-term survivors. It gives them hope because they're able to see that people have lived past the diagnosis and successfully beat the cancer. And it's something that's very, very powerful. So one of the things I did for that today, I come from Connolly's crew on my team, but I did also bring Luminaria for, I will stand right here. I brought Luminaria for Ray, for Dawn, for Steve, for Paul, and for Kim Wyman. And so I'm hoping you'll hang on to them and you can put them outside your tent site at the event. But the very first lap, if you haven't attended, is only cancer survivors. And it's very, very powerful to see these folks take to the track. Very symbolic, because the relay goes for 24 hours, a whole day in the life. And when those survivors take to the track, it's something that gets everybody's focus on the same mission, and it's creating more survivors. At nighttime, we have the Remember part of it. We have the Luminaria that line the track. This was, I believe, 2 years ago when we had the unbelievable rainstorm. This answers the question, even if it's raining, relay goes on. It isn't as if those fighting cancer can wake up and say, I don't feel like fighting today, and they can just ignore cancer, and we can't either. So we relay throughout the day, throughout the night, 24 hours, 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. And the best part is it is a team event. So you don't have to go for the entire time, but you can sign up for parts of it and come help be part of that. And the final part there is that we look at fighting back. And truly, one of the greatest impacts of Relay for Life since its inception in 1985 has raised more than $5 billion in the fight against cancer. And for me, it's 2 things. That's a huge number. And then you start to think, well, what is all that money doing? Why is this significant? What can be done? Why do we need to continue raising more? And something for me that I look at here, I'm a data geek. I spent 13 years at Merrill Lynch. I love numbers, but I also love knowing that what I'm doing is making an impact. And so I wanted to give you a couple really quick facts that you may not know. Number 1, the American Cancer Society is the largest non-governmental funder of cancer research in the world, second only to the US government. And this is why we make huge advances in our research. Does anybody know how many ACS-funded researchers have gone on to win the Nobel Prize? 6? Good starting guess. 47. 47. And keeping in mind, we fund early researchers that have promising research, that are smart, and a huge, I think we fund out of the ones that are available to be funded, that have achieved the success that we think they can make major progress, we fund only about 1/3 of those that have qualified. And so you keep thinking, well, what happens? Are we missing that next researcher, that next promising research, because we don't have enough money to fund it? So that keeps me going. But this is something, I'm going to read it to you. I usually hate reading, but I feel like it's very important. Society-funded researchers have contributed to nearly every major cancer research breakthrough we've seen in almost 70 years since the Society's research program began. They've helped establish the link between cancer and smoking. They have demonstrated the effectiveness of the PAP test. They've developed cancer-fighting drugs and other types like interferon and tamoxifen. They've dramatically increased the cure rate for childhood leukemia. And they've proven the safety and effectiveness of mammography and so much more. Since then, we've spent more than $4 billion on research alone. outside of all the other programs and services that the Society has put together. There are two notable researchers here in our backyard. The first one, Dr. E. Donald Thomas. He was at the University of Washington. Does anyone know what he was famous for? I'm going to teach you today. He pioneered the development of bone marrow transplantation. So he is the one behind developing bone marrow transplants. We were an early funder of his research. The procedures, this is something I love because I love local stuff. The procedure's early success convinced Seattle surgeon Dr. William Hutchinson to build the team a permanent home, and they broke ground on the original Fred Hutch building. Some of these blood cancers, which were once a death sentence, now have cure rates up to 90%. And that came from funding that came from the American Cancer Society to a young researcher who was showing promise in his area. The other key local, and she's not won the Nobel Prize yet, but she has won the Lasker Award, which is typically a precursor to that, is Dr. Mary Claire King. She is the University of Washington geneticist, and she discovered the link between breast cancer and inherited breast cancer diseases. So long before the gene sequencing techniques were developed, she showed and proved that inherited mutations play a significant role in cancer risk. With using more than 4,000 women's data, she was able to guarantee that there was a link following a pattern, and now they are actually able to test for it when someone in a family has been diagnosed. So I wanted to show you this picture here. This is Dr. Mary Claire King right here in the blue, the second one in. And she is actually, these were the leaders of the Relay for Life in Thurston County. This was a few years ago when she spoke at our event for all the top relay events in the nation. And she actually thanked Thurston County for what we've done to advance the fight against cancer. And for me, that was a huge motivator because I'm humbled to be able to be around someone whose brilliance has made so many strides. But for us to hear that what's happening right here in Thurston County is making incredible advances was something that just keeps me going. And so I know in this perspective, it's powerful to know that what's happening right here in our backyard is making a big difference. So, to switch to the video.
Yeah. So you do have a part in this presentation.
I give you the other Jonathan Sprouffske.
A long time ago, people got sick, and no one knew why. We were there. They said there were no answers. We found them. They said there was no hope. We found it. We were pioneers. Since then, our world has changed. We slowed down, and our voice grew quiet, but cancer did not. People still need us, and today we choose to stand together. We are stronger because of those who came before us, and now we will forge a new path. Together, we will no longer remain quiet in the shadows. We will change. We will innovate. Together, we will save lives. We will celebrate lives. We will lead the fight for a world without cancer. Together, we are the American Cancer Society.
So for me, it helps put the perspective of what we're doing, how important it is, and how you really need both feet and finances to make this happen. I know it's a hard sell to say come out for 24 hours and walk around a track. But there is something to be said for the impact that you have as Rotarians, your circles of influence, those you can engage in the fight against cancer. And so for us, I'm hoping that you might be able to take a moment and think about what you might want to do this year as we go through here. I've talked about this, the significance of what we're doing. Since 1991, more than 25% of cancer deaths have been averted, which means more than 2.5 million people are alive because of the advances just since 1991. So for me, if we talk about making this personal, this is my dad. He is a cancer survivor. This is his last, the last survivor lap that he ever had. He was diagnosed with Alzheimer's a few years ago, and when we walked around the track, he wasn't quite sure we were there by the time we finished the lap, and he looked at me and he goes, these people think I'm amazing, because they cheered for him the whole way around the track. And I looked at him, I'm like, they do, don't they? And the next year we brought up pictures of the relay and showed them to him afterwards and just said, you know, we missed you, but we walked for you. And he looked at me, and by that point he didn't remember my name, and he didn't remember that I was his daughter. But he looked at the picture and he points at it and he goes, these people are saving lives. They're changing lives. And I looked at it and I'm like, he gets relay. You know, I sat there and I was just overwhelmed with emotion. And so for us, it's a very special thing. Because cancer research gave me 6 extra years with my dad before he died after Christmas. And I will always be grateful. So I wanted to just do a quick thanks to these overachievers here, Jim, John, Diana, and Shelka. Do you know what they've done already? Can you tell me, Jim?
Yeah, we made it through the maze of the website to join the team.
These are the Rotarians that are already registered on the Lacey Rotary Club team. And so I think you're amazing for having already signed up here. That's our middle son, John Paul, who's little. This is how Sprouffskes do team development and team recruitment. We have more kids. If that is not something that you're interested in with your fellow Rotarians, it's much easier for you. You can just go to relayforlifewiththurston.org and you can get registered. You can search for the Lacey team. I actually still have access as an online chair for the event, so if you have any problems whatsoever getting registered, please reach out to me and I'll get you taken care of and get it squared away, because that should be the least of our worries here. This is something we'd love to see more Rotarians around the track, and who you bring, and your friends, and just coming out to join us and see what this is about, and really to make a big impact. I know that we took 2 of the first things in the auction already. I'm very excited. Thank you for my birthday present, Jonathan. And we're excited to have you here and have you as part of this immediate year. I will still loan you my husband if you need someone for the middle of the night laps, because I think this was about 3 in the morning last year. So you don't have to do that, but he will come over and walk for you. And for us, just consider just what it will look like if you guys are there in a full force from the Lacey Rotary. I would love to know, do you guys have any quick questions before I finish? Is there anything that was unclear or anything I could answer?
Maybe you can mention the date.
That would be good. I kind of thought June 23rd and 24th. It starts Friday night, 6 p.m. and goes to Saturday night at 6 p.m. at the Timberline High School track. Yep, thank you. I appreciate it. Anything else? Well, I know for us this year, in 2017, this is it's a big year. There are going to be more than 35,000 Washingtonians that will be diagnosed with cancer. And with your help, we can continue to increase the odds, because 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women will be diagnosed with cancer at some point in their life, and we're helping to make it a reality that cancer will be defeated. Thank you very much.
So as has become our tradition, we ask, instead of a gift to you, we ask each speaker to please autograph a book that we then donate to Southside Reading Foundation. And this particular book is The Tale of Jemima Puddledunk. So you can take that and sign it with your seat. Thank you very much.